Hello guys, and welcome back to the Up the Guts YouTube channel. We're going to be continuing along our season previews, now heading over to the premiers from 2024 in the Brisbane Lions. Before we start, if you haven't watched our previous video where I did the season preview for the Adelaide Crows, make sure you go and watch that one. And while you're there, click the notification bell and that subscribe button on so you don't miss a chance to see a video when we upload. But for now, let's get into the season preview for the Brisbane Lions. Obviously, Brisbane Lions last year, they were the premiers, and what a season they had, and they absolutely dominated the Sydney Swans in the grand final. It was a bit of a dull grand final to watch, if you want to be quite frank, but it was dominated by the likes of Will Ashcroft. Lockie Neal was really good too, and Calamar Chi was also phenomenal. Now, if we look at some of the ins, we welcome in another Ashcroft, and this Ashcroft could be just as good as the other one who won the Northern Smith medal. It's Levi Ashcroft, was picked up with pick 5 and is a father starting for the Brisbane Lions. I'll be interested to see him run around in the Brisbane Lions midfield, which could be as early as round 1 or round 0. I'm not sure if they're playing round 0. Another one was Sam Day. They picked up in the preseason draft, obviously after the retirement of Joe Daniher, which is going to leave a big hole, might I add. We'll get onto the key forwards in a second, but Joe Daniher's absence is going to leave a big hole. Sam Day was delisted by the Gold Coast Suns, so Brisbane Lions thought Sam Day could be a good enough replacement, so they picked him up in the preseason draft. With pick 42, they picked up Ty Gallup, who's also a key forward. So there's another key forward they've picked up in the draft, who was also from their academy. And with pick 25 from their academy, they also picked up midfielder Sam Marshall. Now the outs, we mentioned, the notable outs, we mentioned Joe Daniher retired. That was broken the day of grand final. It was probably not the ideal time to hear the news, but nonetheless, Jared Lyons, a 3-club warrior, will also retire. Obviously started off with the Adelaide Crows, Gold Coast Suns and Brisbane Lions, and had a season where he polled, I think, 21 Brownlow votes. So he had seasons there where he probably just didn't get the right opportunity. He was a really good player though. Another one out, Harry Sharp went over to the Melbourne Football Club for just more opportunity. And we look at their key defenders, they're pretty good there with Harris Andrews just holding down the fort down there, supported by Jack Payne, Dario Joyce, and Zane DeCostley is the other one down there. Defenders, obviously, they picked up last season Tom Doherty from the Adelaide Crows. Didn't play any games last year as he did an ACL in the preseason, but we're good to see him get out in the park this season, hopefully for the Brisbane Lions. Dane Zorko reinvented his career and added an extra year on him. Going into the season, believe he'll be 36 going into it, or turning 36. Found him spot off half-back and just gathers ball and uses it phenomenally. Was really good when Keaton Coleman went down with the ACL, who the previous year, 2023, if Brisbane Lions had won, was probably best on ground for that game, especially in that first half. He dominated. He was everywhere against Collingwood Football Club, but Keaton Coleman will come back. And it'll be interesting to see, obviously, now they've got Dane Zorko, does this allow Coleman to maybe push up the ground a bit more? Or not necessarily start like that. He can start off half-back, but then when they need a bit of flair, they could put Coleman in the midfield or on the wing. It's something they could definitely look at, I think. Connor McKenna, another one down there. Shadow Brain, we saw a bit of him. Didn't mind what we saw there. Ryan Lester, just missing consistent. Brandon Starsfish, just a lockdown defender. Give him a role and he gets it done. Another person who was really good in the grand final. Noah Ainsworth and Darcy Wilmot. Went to another level last year as well. Midfielders, you've got the likes of, you saw Jasper Fletcher really find himself on that wing. Josh Dunkley doing what Dunkley does. McCluggage, obviously Jared Berry. Will Ashcroft, we'll talk a bit more about him soon. Lockie Neal. Now we move over to the ruckman, obviously the big O, Oscar McInerney, and Darcy Ford, who had to come in for the grand final, and he was phenomenal. Key forward, Logan Morris was a nice find this season, well the season just been, came from playing a VFL game, Quaffle VFL, came across, dipped into Macca's, got a thick shake and a bacon Angus large meal, came in on as a sub and kicked 2 goals and just didn't really look back from there. I think he got dropped once during the season, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But other than that, he showed what a real threat he could be. Obviously, they picked up Sam Day, Luke Lloyd's another one they could look at. Ty Gallup we mentioned earlier. Brandon Ryan we saw a couple of times was coming across from the Hawks. Henry Smith we saw a couple of times, could be a bit of cover over Joe Daniher going now. Darcy Gardner we saw used in the forward line late. He's listed as a key forward on their website, but I see him more as a defensive role, but they definitely could use him up forward too. And Eric Hipwood, if he can find a consistency footing together, we know the talent that Eric Hipwood possesses. Forwards, they got Kai Lohman. Cobra Kai really came into his own. Another one last season. Really came into his own and just tore games apart. And geez, doesn't he love a celebration? Really love Kai Lohman. Callum Archie was exceptional during the final series. Arguably their player of the finals, if you ask me. Lincoln McCarthy, as we know, Cam Rayner, the X factor. When he's on, he's on. But you put that all together, he's one of the ones who's unstoppable when he's on. Charlie Cameron, get the motorbike started, get the Harley going. He'll be looking to go again this season. And a couple of youngsters, Will McLaughlin and Darcy Craven. So now the question is, after winning the Premiership last year, where do I think they will finish in the home and away season? I've got the Brisbane Lions finishing the top 4, but I've got them in the 3rd place. Not sure why, but I just know, I just think they will finish top 4. It's just a matter of where, and I've picked the 3rd spot for now, at least. Look out for this player I've chosen here. Really came onto his own, had an injury disrupted after injuring himself the previous season, and slowly built up his form when he came back halfway to the back end of the year. Was slowly building it up, and then from round 24 onwards, just hit the ground running and shown what sort of player and why he was taken at pick 1, and that is Will Ashcroft. I've got to look out for him. Across his 13 matches in 2024, he averaged 22.8 disposals and kicked the three goals. Just so smooth and silky. Obviously, his best game was when he won the Norm Smith medal in the grand final. 30 disposals, going at 87% efficiency, which is elite. Kicked a goal to go along with 5 clearances and 11 score involvements. The best is yet to come for Will Ashcroft, and I'm excited to see him continue that in 2025. Now, needs to lift. This player had the opportunity. He had a club interested in him in the West Coast Eagles. Didn't take it, decided to stay with the Brisbane Lions to try and fight his spot in there. Now he needs to find that spot and get himself in there, because who knows, West Coast might not be interested. I think they will be again, but it's Devon Robertson. I think he really just needs to find that spot. And once he gets in, he did play the 2 matches last year, but once he gets in, he needs to play like his life and career depends on it and grab onto a spot. Well, there you have it. There is my prediction for the Brisbane Lions going into the 2025 season. I believe they'll finish 3rd. Look out for Will Ashcroft, who's just ready to go to new levels after finding his feet after coming back from an ACL, and needs to lift Devon Robertson to find a regular spot in the starting 22. Thank you guys for watching. Obviously, we'll keep continuing this one across all 18 teams. We've done 2 teams now, 16 to go. Make sure to stay tuned, because next up we have got Carlton. Make sure you turn that notification bell on, click that subscribe button so you don't miss an upload. But until next time, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you then.